The top stories tonight in Wine News. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio expresses gratitude to those who continue to believe in her as she remains the top presidential choice in the latest Pulse Asia survey.
Lawmakers thank COMELEC after heeding to calls to extend the voter registration.
The Department of Health is set to release next week the operational guidelines for the inoculation of minors against COVID-19. Malacañang is not surprised with the Philippines' ranking in the Bloomberg COVID Resilience Report, while the Department of Health defends anew the country's COVID-19 response.
Japan's former foreign minister Fumio Kishida to become the country's new prime minister.
Bob Arum of Top Rank Promotions wishes Senator Manny Pacquiao the best as the people's champ retires from boxing. Good evening, Philippines and the world. We are now reporting live from Quezon City. Today is Wednesday, September 29, 2021. I'm Herlene Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news. Some lawmakers thank the Commission on Elections for extending the voter registration. The palace also acknowledges the effort by the poll body. Dante Almento tells us why.
The Commission on Elections has formally announced today the extension of the voter registration across the country. Thus, some lawmakers were quick to acknowledge this move by the poll body. Senator Grace Poe said in a statement that the extension should be maximized through additional sites and more COMELEC personnel to assist the public during the registration process. Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri, on the other hand, thanked COMELEC for listening to the calls not just by Congress but of the Filipino people. House Speaker Lord Alan Velasco also welcomed this decision of allowing more Filipinos to exercise their right of suffrage. The palace also urged qualified voters to grab the opportunity to be registered while observing the minimum health standards. COMELEC spokesperson Director James Jimenez has disclosed that voter registration extension will be from October 11 to 30. All registration services will be also available, such as reactivation, change of civil status, new voters, among others. Jimenez meanwhile explains that they will skip the first week of October for registration to give way for the filing of the Certificate of Candidacy.
The filing of certificates of candidacy will be no registration and will begin on October 11 and run until October 30.
The registration for overseas voters is also extended for 2 weeks from October 1 to 14. The Department of Health again reminded the public to strictly observe protocols amid the voter registration extension.
Align with the current protocols of our response to COVID-19. So kapag yung event po sa tingin natin will produce crowding or gathering of people, no? Ito po yung mga high risk na scenarios natin. Kami po ay nag-e-emphasize ng safety ng mga taong pupunta, ng mga taong magtatrabaho.
Dante Almento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio thanked those who continue to believe in her as she remains the top presidential choice in the latest Pulse Asia survey. Rosa Licos details why.
Presidential daughter and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio remains to be the top choice to be the next president, according to the latest Pulse Asia survey. With 20% of Filipino adults expressing support for her possible bid, she ranks first, though there was a decrease from her 20% score last June. Political analyst Professor Ed Montayo believes this is possibly because she consistently insists that she is not interested in the presidency.
Mayor Sara has yet to categorically declare her candidacy, and she's been consistently not going to go for it because her father accepted the nomination for vice president. So that may have contributed to the decline.
Inday Sara, through her spokesperson, meanwhile, thanked all those who continue to believe in her.
The latest Pulse Asia survey reflects the people's desire for stable leadership in these uncertain times. Owing to Mayor Sara's stellar track record of performance as mayor of Davao and her courage and conviction as a leader who always puts the people's needs first, the people see in Mayor Sara the president that we need and the president that we can trust.
On the other hand, Senate President Vicente Sotto III topped the preferences for the next vice president, followed by President Rodrigo Duterte, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso, Bongbong Marcos, and Senator Manny Pacquiao. Senate President Vicente Sotto III welcomed the results of the recent Pulse Asia survey. Malacañang meanwhile maintained that President Duterte is the candidate to beat despite placing only second to Sotto. On preferred senatorial bets, 15 personalities who are mostly former and incumbent members of Congress have a statistical chance of winning if the elections were held during the survey period. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability might issue an arrest warrant against Pharmaly Pharmaceutical Corporation Executive Crisel Mago. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why live. Yes, Nel, good evening. Go ahead.
Well, good evening. The issuance of warrant of arrest is just an option in case Pharmaly Executive Crisel Mago will not appear in the motu proprio investigation of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability scheduled on October 4. This is according to the committee's Vice Chairperson, Representative Johnny Pimentel.
The proper course of action, kung hindi talaga matanggap yung subpoena, then of course, the second course of action usually is we issue a warrant of arrest.
Mago is the Pharmaly's official who admitted during the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing that the production dates of government-procured face shields were tampered to make them appear new. According to Congressman Pimentel, the House panel members themselves want to verify the information from Mago.
Talaga malaman whether totoo ba talagang merong expiry date yung mga face shield. Kasi kung titignan mo, kahit ngayon, kung bibili tayo ng face shield, meron bang nakalagay na expiry date doon? Wala naman
Panel Chairman Representative Michael Aglipay said on Tuesday that a subpoena was already issued for Mago. But as of this moment, there is no information yet if the said official already received it. The chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator Richard Gordon, already said that Mago could no longer be reached after her revelation in the Senate hearing. Both chambers of Congress are investigating the purchase of COVID-19 supplies last year, in which a Pharmaly bagged billions of pesos worth of government contracts. Will?
Yes, thank you, Nel Maribuhok, reporting live.
Opposition Senator Risa Hontiveros denied the allegation of Pharmaly Pharmaceutical that her office bribed the warehouse staff who testified about the substandard medical supplies. Arlene Delgado will tell us why.
Senator Risa Hontiveros says she has receipts to prove that their witness in the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee probe, who is a warehouse staff of Pharmaly, was the one who approached her office. This comes after Pharmaly and attorney Ferdinand Topacio presented to the media a video of an individual who claims to be another Pharmaly warehouse employee. Hontiveros witnessed bared during the September 24 hearing about the substandard face shields that were supplied to the government and the tampering of expired certificates.
Kaya po lumabas si BJ, nabayaran po siya para siraan si Miss Mago at si Pharmaly. Ang alam ko po nag-offer ng pera kay BJ ay si attorney JB Kema, abogado po ni Miss Hontiveros. At ang alam ko po nagbigay ng mismong pera kay BJ ay yung driver ni Miss Bekema. Sana inisip mo lahat ng sinabi mo na paninira.
The supposed Pharmaly staff also denies the alleged anomalies in the warehouse.
Kaya po namin patunayan doon sa loob po ng production na wala pong ganun. At doon po sa sinasabi na sa mga reject na nakarating po sa mga frontliner na daw po, hindi po yun totoo.
Topacio says they will study the possibility of filing the appropriate complaint against Senator Hontiveros and the two individuals connected to her office. In response, Hontiveros says her office has an email thread as proof, noting that they vetted the information of the witness and corroborated his points. She adds even formerly regulatory head Crizel Grace Mago herself admitted to swindling the government. The opposition senator says she is ready to face any charges to prove that they don't need to bribe for the truth. She also hits back at Topacio, saying that the lawyer's supposed script is expired just like the face shields that formerly supplied to the government. The 10th Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing will be held tomorrow. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Officials and some members of the Liberal Party met with Vice President Leni Robredo today. They discussed Robredo's goal to have united opposition in the 2022 elections. Robredo told her allies that she is still in deep discernment about her potential presidential bid. Meanwhile, the Vice President spokesperson, Attorney Barry Gutierrez, and Party President Senator Francis Pangilinan confirmed that another option for VP Robredo is to seek re-election.
Napag-usapan kasi that's part of unity talks, di ba? Hindi naman pwedeng tatlo sabay-sabay tatakbo. Kailangan merong mag-giveaway. So that's part of the discussions and the unity talks, di ba?
The Department of Health is set to release next week the operational guidelines for the inoculation of minors against COVID-19. JP Nunez details why.
Inoculation of minors aged 12 to 17 years old against COVID-19 will start in October 15. It will be piloted in Metro Manila. Those with underlying illness, such as heart, kidney, and respiratory diseases will be prioritized. Children, together with their parents or guardians, should sign a consent form prior to vaccination. Minors should also present medical certificates proving their health risks.
So pagkatapos ng 2 linggo, ito yung tinatawag na test run ay dadalhin na natin sa iba't ibang rehiyon, no? Umpisahan ang pagbabakuna sa mga may comorbidities. Pinag-uusapan namin kung sa umpisa, gagawin muna sa mga ospital para makita kung ano yung mga reaction.
Yung supplies, pag dumating na po by October to December itong sinasabing committed 100 plus million supplies, definitely, hindi na natin kailangan mag-prioritize because supplies are there already. Pero kailangan pag-usapan natin because prioritization is just for the adult population. Yun pong mga children, it's a special population for us because we need to ensure that really safe tong mga bakunang to para sa kanila.
As of now, only vaccines made by Pfizer and Moderna have secured emergency use authorization from the Philippine Food and Drug Administration. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Philippines fell to last place in Bloomberg's COVID resilience ranking of the best and worst places to be amid the pandemic. However, Malacañang said this report is not surprising at all. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The Philippines dropped to the 53rd and last spot in this year's best and worst places to be amid the pandemic as it faces the onslaught of the Delta variant and slow inoculation program. Bloomberg studies based on indicators such as quality of health care, vaccination coverage, severity of lockdowns and restrictions, progress on restarting travel and easing border curbs, among others. In a statement, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said, Malacañang is not surprised that the Philippines, together with other Southeast Asian countries, such as Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam, are at the bottom of the list. Secretary Roque further said vaccines are key towards defeating COVID-19. But as President Rodrigo Duterte articulated in the United Nations, rich countries hoard life-saving vaccines, while poor nations wait for trickles. The Health Department welcomes such analysis but emphasized that the country has been improving and is continuing to improve on COVID-19 response.
One of the major factor that we are looking at would be the use of antigen tests in our communities, in our homes, and also in our laboratories. Yun pong hesitancy po ng mga tao ngayon to have themselves tested. And we are looking at two different reasons for this, because they have that fear of getting extracted from their homes and being brought to a quarantine facility. They fear that their families wala pong kakainin kapag sila po ay na-quarantine.
Meanwhile, countries which top the list are developed countries such as Ireland, Spain, Netherlands, Finland, and Denmark. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health agrees with former Health Secretary and Iloilo Representative Janet Garin's claim that breakthrough infections in the country are underreported. This is why the DOH encourages all local government units and vaccination sites to submit the data of COVID-19 infections on time. DOH is already working on the supposed inconsistencies.
Unfortunately, and we agree with former Secretary Garin, underreported talaga. Meron naman po kami nakakalap na datos for these breakthrough infections. Our hospitals are helping us. They give us information regarding these breakthrough infections among our healthcare workers.
Breakthrough infection happens when a fully vaccinated person gets infected with COVID-19.
The Philippines today recorded 12,805 new COVID-19 cases, raising the nationwide tally to 2,535,732. In its 4 p.m. bulletin, the Department of Health said that the country's active tally of cases is down to 132,339. Of this number, 76.7% are mild, 16.4% are asymptomatic, 3.91% are moderate, 2.1% are severe, and 0.9% are in critical condition. Total recoveries climbed to 2,365,229 after 12,236 more patients survived from the disease. The DOH also reported 186 new fatalities, pushing the death toll to 38,164. The DOH said one accredited testing laboratory failed to submit data on time. Meanwhile, the overall global COVID-19 caseload has reached to 232,861,440, while the deaths have surged to 4,766,422, according to the Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. is the worst-hit country with the world's highest number of cases and deaths at 33,853,948 and 607,156 respectively, according to the CSSE. In terms of infections, India follows with 33,716,451 cases and 447,751 deaths. In terms of deaths, Brazil comes second with 595,446 fatalities.
The Banco Central ng Pilipinas clarifies the 20 peso banknotes remain valid. However, they ask the public to circulate the 20 peso coins. Asher Cadapan Jr. explains why.
The 20 peso new generation currency banknote shall be gradually removed from circulation through natural attrition or until the banknotes become unfit for recirculation. The Banco Central ng Pilipinas clarifies this as fake news spread in social media, stating that the 20 peso bill will only be valid until the end of the year.
Wala pong announcement si Bangko Sentral na yan ay i-demonetize na o hindi na pwedeng gamitin. Ang 20 pesos po na papel ay magko-coexist sa 20 pesos na barya. Ibig sabihin, sabay silang magse-circulate.
BSP Currency Policy and Integrity Department Acting Deputy Director Nanette Malabrigo, however, explains that 20 peso coins being released since 2019 should be recirculated. With this, the BSP reminds the public to not hoard the coins or keep them in piggy banks for years so it can be used in daily financial transactions.
At maaari, gamitin natin ang barya. Ikalat natin, i-circulate. Pwedeng mag-ipon, yes, wala pong problema doon. Pero gastusin natin din agad. Okay, mag-defeat po yung purpose natin na ang paggamit ng barya ay parang pansukli or pambili sa mga maliliit lang na bagay.
Meanwhile, the BSP warns others against the use of banknotes and coins for purpose not in accordance with the law. Malabrigo says the coins should be used while maintaining it fit for circulation. Practice of defacing, mutilating, tearing, or partially burning or destroying our currency by any means may penalize the violator in accordance with the Presidential Decree number 247. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The three major telecommunications players in the Philippines will launch the mobile number portability services tomorrow through the joint venture Telecommunications Connectivity, or TCI. This means mobile phone users can switch networks while keeping their numbers or change their subscription from postpaid to prepaid and vice versa. Switching into another network is free for subscribers and will take only 48 hours to transfer telcos.
Hindi na ako mag-aalala na magpapalit pa ako ng number na kailangan ko sabihan lahat ng mga kakilala ko o ang kailangan ko palitan ng contact numbers ko, sa mga apps kailangan ko palitan. So ito po ay magiging beneficial sa mga kababayan natin na nakikita nila na merong ibang network na makakapag-provide ng services na gusto nila.
Senator Emmanuel Manny Pacquiao announced today his retirement from boxing. In a recorded video, the boxing legend thanked his fans, supporters, and everyone who helped him in his entire career.
As I hang up my boxing gloves, I would like to thank the whole world, especially the Filipino people, for supporting Manny Pacquiao. I just heard the final bell. Tapos na ang boxing. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Meanwhile, top-ranked promotions who negotiated almost all of Pacquiao's boxing bouts wish the people's champ the best.
And for the news abroad, Japan's former Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida is the country's new Prime Minister. Kishida won the ruling party's leadership vote on Wednesday over vaccine chief Taro Kono. As he succeeds Suga, Kishida faces challenges such as the pandemic, a stagnant economy, and a region increasingly dominated by China. But his first order of business will be preparing to fight a general election in the fall, which the LDP is expected to win. In other news, overseas passengers and Australia's aviation industries urge the federal government to give specific guidelines for the reopening of international borders by December. This is to ensure that airlines will be prepared for the possible influx of passengers and for providing them with services as required. Having clear guidelines can also provide more certainty for the airlines industry's business continuity. According to the country's national plan, a gradual reopening of inward and outward international travel will begin once 80% of Australia's population are fully vaccinated. Thousands of people were evacuated and villages were put in lockdown as lava from La Palma volcano in Spain rolls down towards the sea. Marvin Dolphin details why live. Yes, Marvy, please go ahead.
Mariel, the lava flowing from a volcano in Spain's Canary Islands gathered speed towards the Atlantic Ocean on Tuesday. This prompted additional precautions due to possible explosions and formation of clouds of toxic gases when the lava meets the seawater. According to the Volcanology Institute of Canary Islands, over 46 million cubic meters of molten rock have been emitted by the volcano. As the lava flow from the volcanic eruption continues to devour everything in its path down the mountains, over 6,000 people were evacuated since September 19. Moreover, according to Miguel Angel Murcuende, director of the Pavolca Response Committee, lockdowns in 3 coastal villages must be strictly implemented to ensure safety when the lava converges with the ocean. Based on a European Union satellite monitoring agency, the lava now engulfs over 258 hectares. It has destroyed 589 houses, 21 kilometers of roads, and hectares of crops. Meanwhile, no deaths or serious injuries were reported due to the swift action conducted by the government. Marielle?
Marvy, the volcanic eruption has devastated houses and livelihoods. Are there any government assistance for the affected residents?
Yes, Marielle, the government will provide financial support with an immediate package amounting to 10.5 million euros. This would be used for housing and income aid. More financial grants will be sent for rebuilding public infrastructures once the emergency is over. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Marvin Delfin, reporting live. Over the past year, Singapore's population size saw its biggest percentage drop in over 70 years. Jane Robles will tell us why live. Yes, Jane, please go ahead.
Marielle, the total population of the Asian financial hub shrunk by 4.1%, mainly due to a significant decrease of its non-resident population. This is along with citizens and permanent residents who are forced to stay overseas due to travel restrictions. According to an official annual population report released on Tuesday, the citizen population dropped by 0.7%, while the permanent resident population also decreased by 6.2%. The non-resident population saw a 10.7% drop, largely caused by a decrease in foreign employment. Work permit holders in the construction, shipyard, and process sectors experienced the largest drop due to travel restrictions and uncertain economic conditions. Like other developed nations, Singapore's birth rate has declined for the past year, suggesting that couples may have postponed parenthood plans due to the pandemic. The low birth rate also means that the proportion of people aged over 65 and above is increasing faster compared to previous years. Marielle?
Jane, what are some of the initiatives by the government to try and improve Singapore's population?
Well, Marielle, the Singaporean government last year introduced a $3,000 baby support grant to encourage couples to have children. Couples with citizen children born between the 1st of October 2020 and the 30th of September 2022 will be eligible for this incentive, in addition to the existing baby bonus cash gift of up to $10,000. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Jane Robles, for that live report. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Maria Latoza, reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Psalms, chapter 130, verse 3. It says, "If thou, Lord, shouldest mark iniquities, O Lord, who shall stand?" And those are the reasons behind the news, September 29, 2021. I'm Herlene Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The filing of certificates of candidacy will be no registration and will begin on October 11 and run until October 30.
Pagkatapos ng 2 linggo, yung tinatawag na test run ay dadalhin na natin sa iba't ibang rehiyon, no? umpisahan ang pagbabakuna sa mga may comorbidities.
Kaya po lumabas si BJ, nabayaran po siya para siraan si Miss Mago at si Parmali. Ang alam ko po nag-offer ng pera kay BJ ay si Attorney JB Kema, abogado po ni Miss Hontiveros.
As I hang up my boxing gloves, I would like to thank the whole world, especially the Filipino people, for supporting Manny Pacquiao. I just heard the final bell. Tapos na ang boxing. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.